Christ. Christ on a crouch on these allergies. Hey everyone, long time no see. Kane here with a review of the new DCEU movie Wonder Woman. Yeah, it has been a while, sorry about that. New job, that's exciting. Trying to move out by the end of this month, that's also very exciting. So that kind of stressful situation led me to not really want to make videos for a while. So, when I play catch up, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Great sequel, great acting, great cast, great chemistry, great character development, great villain, best in the MCU, I think. Just an all-around really good sequel. But now, Wonder Woman. I went into this movie with fairly high expectations, as I'm sure everyone did, since a lot of the pre-screening reviews coming out said that this movie will save the DCEU. Maybe. I don't know if Justice League will continue that fire, but we'll see, won't we? I mean, my favorite parts of Batman v Superman were the Wonder Woman bits. God, start breathing right! The question was, could Gal Gadot, who only really had a glorified cameo in Batman v Superman, could she actually carry a film on her own? And yes, she can. She is very, very good as Wonder Woman. Her acting is really natural, and she shows probably the most range that the actress has ever shown in her life. I've only really known her from DCEU, obviously, and her character in the Fast and the Furious franchise, who was in, I think, just the 5th and 6th movies before they killed her. My eyes swelling up, God. But she is able to really prove herself as a legitimate actress, as well as being very beautiful. Sentence word here. But she does carry the movie really well, with a little bit of help from Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. And Chris Pine, to me, never really has had a role to really explode him. I think you know what I mean, make him not just be like the new Captain Kirk or whatever, but he really does do a damn good version of Steve Trevor. He's a bit more snarky than I think Steve Trevor was. Or maybe I'm just unfamiliar with Steve Trevor, but he brings his charm and charisma that works well off of this younger Wonder Woman's naivete about man's world, semi-stoic warrior ways. But yeah, this is the origin story of Wonder Woman, just moved back to World War I instead of World War II, and there is a reason for that. It wasn't just arbitrary. Steve Trevor crashes into Themyscira, tells a story about the Great War, and Wonder Woman decides it's her duty to step up and fight. Now, the first thing that people are going to notice about this movie going into is that somebody at the DC editing booth finally figured out what color is. When we're in Themyscira, it's not dull, it doesn't have this blue, snidery haze over it. It's colorful, it's vibrant, it's pretty. It's a lot of things Batman v Superman wasn't, and still trying to keep with that gritty, dark, uber-realist stuff. And Themyscira itself is filled with beautiful women that have perfect stunt coordination, because we see the warrior training in there is just impressive to behold. Yeah, I don't know if they're all stunt people, but they damn sure should be if they aren't. Funnily enough, though, when we do get into man's world, when we do leave Themyscira, that blue filter's all over the place again, so it's my theory that Earth in the DCEU just sucks. It's all blue, it's all lame, it's all dull. Earth just sucks in the DCEU. But I know what some people thinking clicking on this video's thumbnail and talking about a good review of Wonder Woman have to say about that. Don't you hate feminism? Don't you hate identity politics? Don't you hate social justice warriors and all that kind of stuff? I mean, obviously I do. But here's the thing about the feminist themes of Wonder Woman. They're either extremely subtle or they're just not there. I mean, this isn't like a feminist girl power movie, thank God. The Amazons aren't misandric. Wonder Woman never comes off as misandric, and there are mentions of, like, getting the vote. Etta Candy's in there. She's awesome, by the way. I fucking loved everything Etta Candy was in. But it's the World War I times. It's the late 1910s. That was something that was actually happening. It's warranted to have something like that in the movie, especially with a female protagonist. Yeah, there was nothing about hating men. Whenever the Amazons were talking about man's world or the world of mankind, right there, mankind, humanity. They're not really that human. We get a bit that they were like the God's chosen children when stuff happened, explaining the origin of Themyscira and all that happens in the movie. So they are actually different than humans. They just happen to be all women. So yeah, the main cast is great. The two leads have perfect chemistry with each other. It's believable their romance, because let's be honest, Steve Trevor and Diana Prince have a romance in the comics, and it's here in the movie. And they're supporting characters. They had this little, like, bargain basement howling commandos, and they get a lot of time. They don't get as much time to shine, but they have their great character moments, and they also grow as characters, and it's just cool to see that they had that in there. They didn't have to have anybody else other than Steve and Wonder Woman, but it works. So yeah, great cast, great acting, great direction, great shots, great use of color finally. This movie, while it isn't the best of the Kate movies that came out this year, Logan and Guardians 2 are slightly better. This is still a great movie, the best DCEU movie by far, and if you haven't seen it yet, you need to. Now, in order to get into the few things that don't work about this movie, we're going to have spoilers. So in order to actually talk about the real villain of the story and the last 20 minutes of the movie that don't really work all that well, but aren't enough to kill the movie, we're going to have to talk about spoilers. So, here we go. The villain of this movie is not Dr. Poison. It's not the German general, which was based on a real dude, by the way, who came up with the concept of total war. Found that on Wikipedia. And it's not even Ares himself. The villain of this film is the concept and the horrors of war itself. That's the thing Diana is dealing with the most in this movie. Now, in her brain, she thinks Ares has corrupted men, and that the reason they're fighting each other is because Ares did something to them. And she thinks that if she kills Ares, all war on the planet will stop. And she believes this. This is practically a religion to her. She believes this 100%. It's not a religion, it's truth for her. So she sees people enslaving other people. She sees people getting gravely injured. They don't push like the horrors of war aspect as far as they can because the movie still has to be PG-13, but they get pretty good with what they can do. So she kills the general guy, and she thinks that, since she thinks that he is Ares, that killing him will stop all the wars on the Earth. But she kills him, and the soldiers keep preparing to launch missiles towards targets and stuff like that. And she's just completely flabbergasted. Her faith is shattered. She thought killing Ares, well, and maybe he is Ares because he actually makes mention of the Greek gods when they actually meet in casual attire. So maybe he is Ares. Once she does kill the general, they still fight, and she's it's hard to describe somebody's faith getting broken because it actually really isn't a faith, or it kind of is. You see what I'm talking about? It's kind of multifaceted. But Steve's like, maybe humanity just sucks sometimes. And while he goes to finish his job, she stays and ponders her shattered reality until Ares actually does show up. He's one of the British characters that we thought was a good guy. That's an interesting twist. It's Remus Lupin. And he reveals that she's actually the biological child of Zeus and Hippolyta. I was going to piss off some purists that like the sculptor from Clay thing, but whatever. And she is the only one that can kill a god. But he also tells her that I didn't make mankind violent. They were like this. And when I tried to explain that to the others, they thought I did it. So he was cast out of Olympus, or is it Olympus? I don't know if Olympus was ever said. Olympus, and decided that he would start the war that would wipe humanity out despite the gods. And so they fight. And for a while, he's still dressed in like the British-ass clothing. He's got the dumb little hat, he's got the suit jacket on, and he's like flying around. It was actually kind of funny, but then again, it's like the final battle against the big bad. It really shouldn't be all that funny. And then he gets his like armor on. It's CG, of course, and it doesn't really look all that good. It looks like the animations weren't properly tweaked. He moves kind of like a video game model or a source filmmaker model. It's kind of distracting. That was going through my head. But Steve Trevor is able to give a heroic sacrifice, and it's a really well done heroic sacrifice. And that opens up Wonder Woman's berserker rage, and Ares is trying to get her to help him to destroy humanity. But she says that only love and compassion can get humanity back on the right track. That's really corny, but whatever. and she's able to eradicate him. The war ends. It's bittersweet because Steve's dead. And then it cuts back to the present, and she says she's going to fight on or do stuff. But this leaves a bit of unanswered questions. Like, after World War One, she really stopped being Wonder Woman. I think, at least. Otherwise, we would have known that she would have existed, aside from this really secret photo that's not public knowledge, not taught in schools or whatever. I mean, maybe World War II happened and she had enough of it and went away for a while, but then just having Batman find out who she is and whatnot is what inspired her to get out of it. Anyway, I'm probably thinking about this too hard. Spoilers are over. That's the only really legitimate hard criticism I have about the movie. It's that final 20 minutes that the movie starts to unravel, but it's at the very end of the movie, so it doesn't really kill the movie. I mean, it's been going on great so long that just that final part of the third act, just they sort of dropped the ball. But it's not enough to kill the movie. The movie does deserve the high ratings and the high praises it gets, and you better go see it if you haven't already. That's my thoughts on Wonder Woman. There's a comment section down there. What'd you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please let me know. Give me a like, give me a sub, give me a ding to that bell, and I'll be back soon with more videos. I believe The Mummy comes out next week. Probably gonna suck. The idea of another cinematic universe entices me because I have a massive big boner for cinematic universes now because Marvel hit it out of the park and X-Men's doing good and DC finally has decided to get their shit together. So I'd like another cinematic universe. I don't know if the MonsterVerse thing can actually work, but we'll see. That's all. I'll have this video up as soon as I can, and I will catch you all later. See ya.